Hello, we're going to take a look at how to save your files in a way that you can find them later. So what I have here is my computer, which is opened up, and you can see you've got a C drive, or I've got a C drive. You may have a D drive, probably you don't unless you're in room 105. You might have an E drive, a CD-ROM drive. In fact, that might be your D drive. And that could be it. You can see I've got two DVD drives on my computer, but most computers in the school only have one. Uh, the two drives that every computer will probably share will be a C drive and then the network location. And I'll talk about that in a second. First, the C drive. You might notice that these drives, C, D, E, and F, all have letters that follow each other. Well, what happened to A and B? In the old days, they had an A and B drive that were reserved for floppy or external type drives. And those floppy drives, of course, are no longer used. And this is just kind of a holdover to those days. So C drive is reserved for the operating system. This is where all the programs that you install on your computer are stored. On a home machine, what usually happens is you'll store all your files on here as well too, in a My Documents folder. On network computers inside of a school environment, storing your files on a C drive is a bad idea. Why? Well, if I store all my files on this C drive and then log into a computer in a different room, there's no possible way I'm going to be able to access those files. This is a huge problem. So we've got to make sure everything is stored on a network location. And you'll notice that whatever computer you log into in a school, you're always going to have mapped a student network location. If you follow down to the right, where in my case it says build test stars.local files home students grad 2019 and then H drive. H drive stands for home folder. And so we're missing G drive. Don't worry about that, or at least my computer is. Yours might be missing D, E, and F drive as well too, or E and F drive. It's irrelevant. As long as you've got a C drive and an H drive, you're going to be fine. So the next important piece here is, how do we make sure we always save on H drive? Well, there's really only one way to do that. And I'm going to maybe show you a shortcut or two as we go here. What I'd like to do is open up Microsoft Office, and of course I can go through the menu and click on Microsoft Office and then find Word and select it. But an easy way to do this is to simply type Word. And if you type Word here in the search panel, what you'll find is that it's probably going to be your first hit, and we can easily open up Word. So there's Word. And let's just type in a very simple document, and we're going to save it. Now again, we can go File, and then we can click Save. But I'm going to go back here and just click Control S. I'm holding the Control in the bottom left-hand corner of the keyboard with my left hand and hitting the S with my right hand. So Control S is a really nice keyboard shortcut. Many of you probably know that already. If you're not sure, that's a good one to learn. What I'm going to do now is, the default for saving is to Documents, but this Documents may map to C drive. And if you remember, that's going to be a problem because that's a local drive. Where do we want to save? We want to save to the network drive. I'm going to click on Computer, and I'm going to find my home folder, my H drive. I'm going to double click it, and now I could go to my Documents, or I could make a new folder right here if I want to. And I'm going to make a new folder, and I'm going to call it IT-8. And in that IT-8 folder, I'm going to store this as a test. And I'll click Save. And if I close that file, I've saved it, so I'm okay. Where do I find it now from computer? If I want to reopen it next class or next day, well, I can't go to C drive. It's not going to be there. I've got to go to my H drive, because if you remember, I created a folder called IT-8. There it is. I double click on the file, and I've opened it. One more shortcut while we're here, actually maybe a couple more shortcuts. If I want to print this file, not very exciting to print this, but Control P. Again, Control bottom left-hand corner of the keyboard with my left hand, and the P key with my right hand, Control P, great little shortcut, and that brings up the print dialog. The printers in the school are organized by name, and it should be fairly evident which printer you should use. In this case, if I were in the library, I'd select the library printer. I'm actually in room 105, and you can see that it's programmed or set up, configured to default to the nearest printer. I'm not going to print this. We can just go back to Home, and there's my document, and away I go.